Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about text features, nonfiction text features. This should be a review since this was one of those topics that you guys discussed probably at greater lengths in elementary. But text features help readers to comprehend what they are reading. They're especially helpful when reading nonfiction text. They include all the parts of a story or an article that are not in the main body of text. So the main thing I want you guys to pay attention to is that whenever you do receive or you are looking at a passage or an article, train your eyes to see everything that's on the page. The images, the small print, the bold print, the graphs, all of the data that is given to you, because for one reason or another, the author included it and you need to train your eyes to look at it and read it. So the first type of text feature that we'll go over is a title page. Title pages are located at the beginning of the book, and they tell us basic information about the creation of the book. So if you look at the example, we know the title of this excerpt is A Book About Frogs. We have the author, we have the illustrator, we also have the publishing information, company, and the publishing date or year. The next text feature is table of contents. It's located at the beginning of the book, and it lists the chapters that are found within the book. Your table of contents is generally going to give you your chapters in the order of which they would appear in the page numbers of which that you can find those chapters on. The next text feature is an index. It's located at the end of the book, and it helps the reader to quickly find a certain topic in the book. So your table of contents is in the front, your index is in the back. The index is going to go in alphabetical order. Table of contents goes in the order of which those chapters or articles appear within the text. Your glossary is at the end of the book. It says some glossaries will include some pronunciation guides that help you know how to say the words, but mainly you're going to find the definitions of those words that are typically bolded within the text. And the words that appear in the glossary are found in alphabetical order. Sometimes in a glossary you'll find guide words. You definitely find your guide words in a dictionary, but the guide words are located at the top of the page. They tell you the first term on that page and then the last term on the page. Guide words are useful because they help you as a reader know where to find the definition for a certain word. Since the reader knows the glossary is in alphabetical order, it allows you as a reader to determine whether a certain word is on a given page. So the next series of text features are found within the text itself, within the body of the text. You have first your heading. Heading indicates that a new or broad section is being introduced. It tells the reader what that section is going to be about. And then you also have subheadings. These indicate new or very specific sections that are being introduced. The subheading is just one section that addresses the topic that was introduced in the heading. So in this example on the right, our heading was all about frogs, And then the subheading or subheadings are adaptability in response to environment. So how can you tell the difference between headings and subheadings? Your headings are typically going to be a larger font size. They might be a different color. Your subheadings are going to be smaller and may or may not, that you're going to be able to differentiate between the two, right? Heading is going to appear first. Your subheadings are going to follow. Your heading is going to introduce a more broad or general topic, while your subheadings are more specific to the overall topic. The next text feature are bold words, and your bold words indicate important or significant words. These words are going to be darker than the surrounding words within the text. They are also the words that you will find in the glossary. Remember that glossary is going to be at the back of your book, and it's alphabetized and it provides the definitions. You also have italics. Your words in italics indicate important information. These are slanted texts, and whereas the rest of the text is going to be up and down, words that are italicized have a slant in them, as in this example of 190 million years. The author wants the reader to remember this important fact or detail. So it's just important to remember when you see words that are italicized that you pay a close attention to that text and the words that are surrounding that text, because more often than not, that's important information that you're probably going to be asked about later. Bullet points is a common text feature that we see. They indicate lists of phrases or words or sentences that are related to the overall topic. And bullet points are just dots that are often followed by phrases or sentences, and they're used to introduce new items. You can see checklists, you will see check boxes, you see arrows. There are several different types of bullet points that you will see utilized throughout nonfiction texts. A more common text feature, and it's fairly new, are those hyperlinks that you see within documents. This indicates a website link that you can use at your disposal, referring to information that's pertinent or relevant to the topic. So it's just a digital link that takes you to another site. Text boxes and sidebars, that's what you see here. They provide important information that is pulled from out of the general text. It is just an extension. So they might go into a little bit more detail of a specific concept or topic that was not thoroughly discussed throughout the body of the text. So it's just important to know when you see text box or sidebars, as they would be called, it's just some information that is added as an extension of the main features within the text. It contains information that's interesting but not essential for the reader to know. So the next set of text features is given to you to provide visual form of information that an author will provide. You see photographs, and the photographs are just images that have been captured utilizing a camera. It shows real life images. On the other hand, you might see illustrations, which I will get to next, but photographs are just important because they give us as the reader some real life examples to see that's noted within the text. So authors also include photographs to capture our attention. Opposite of that are illustrations, and these are drawings, right? These are depictions of real life images. And it's something that's been created by an illustrator, again, to further strengthen an understanding of what's being discussed within the text. So on the left, there is your illustration, and on the right is a photograph. How do you know the differences between the two? Well, one image you will see that doesn't look real life and looks like it's drawn, that's your illustration. The image that does look like it's been captured in real life is your photograph, and because you can tell that a camera has taken it. Then you get into captions. Caption is a sentence, or it could be a group of sentences that's near the photograph, usually occurs at the bottom of a photograph, and it just gives you pertinent information about what you see in the image. You have diagrams as the next type of text feature, and a diagram is an image that shows the parts of something, and it contains, what you see here are labels. Okay, so another example of a text feature is a label, and the labels are the words that are used within a diagram. The labels name the parts of the diagram. Okay, so it says the entire rectangle shows the diagram. Your words are the labels. You couldn't have a diagram without the labels. They go hand in hand. If you don't have the labels, what you're looking at is just an illustration. Another type of a text feature is a close-up. A close-up is an image of something that is viewed at very close range. It allows the reader to see the intricate details of an object. So here you're seeing the skin of a frog that's been zoomed in. You also have what's called a cutaway. And a cutaway is an image that shows the reader the inside of something. Cutaway is also known as the cross section. It often appears that a portion of the object has been removed or cut out to allow the reader to view the inside of the object. So what this image shows us, or this cutout shows us, is the organs of the frog, right? The next text feature is that of a map. The map shows the location of an object or occurrence. There's also a map key here, and it's crucial for understanding the importance of the map to the overall topic. Here, you know that this map is discussing the northern cricket frogs, and then it also tells you the different frogs that are specific or relevant to a certain region. The next text feature is that of a timeline. A timeline is a linear representation of important events and the order of which they occur within the text. Timelines can have different forms. This one is a vertical timeline. It's also horizontal timelines. You have charts and graphs. Charts and graphs are graphical representations of data. The data is represented by bars, lines, or slices. In this case, you have a pie chart because it utilizes slices to represent specific data. You also have what are called tables. Tables display data that has been arranged in rows and columns. So the next set of slides are just going to be a review for you. You guys are more than welcome to go through these slides just to check for your understanding of the concept of text features, or you can pause and go ahead and get started on your matching activity. All right, thank you.